But it's almost as though you're playing a tune that you've never heard before on an instrument you don't know how to play, with fingers doing things they were never trained to do. And it will happen easily. Paul has no idea every Sunday night when we sit down what's going to come out of his mouth. And it comes out most easily. Simply because he lets. A tune is played, a dance occurs with everyone. It's not hard. But you have to be willing to embrace your brother as the Christ. You have to be willing to look for and see the Holy Spirit in your brother. Just as you are becoming more willing to see and lean into the Holy Spirit in you, which is nothing more and nothing less than your right mind, which is nothing less than the presence of God. Now that is the answer. No matter how complicated the details of any given situation might seem to be, no matter how complex they might seem to be. The journey back. Another chapter under our belt. The journey back is not made by an ego improving itself, but is the reawakening in you of the Christ of you, coming back into its right mind. Because it's no longer engaging in a fantasy activation in order to try to make a sense of self real. And it abandons its divorce proceedings from the Father and rejoins and lets in the experience of its excellence, and then lets in the excellence of his brother or sister as well. Because in doing that, it makes yours what you have been willing to extend, what you have been willing to let fill you by virtue of breaking the isolation from your Father, and which you have extended on and made your own. I find you worthy of acknowledging the divinity of you. You must find your brother worthy of acknowledging the divinity in him, because that's the way you remember who you are. And that's just the way it works. I said that I would open this evening's get-together for questions or comments or frustrations, whatever. You can talk about gristle you've run into or filet mignon that you've experienced, but this time is open because this is the nitty-gritty here. Shall we start with the complainers? Let's say the ones that have had a rough time.
I can kind of understand. I mean, I grasp it. I feel like I grasp it. Then I get out there and I find that really trying to do this, I feel sort of like lost, like I lost my anchor. And the difficulties that arise, the difference, the changes in the relationships that I have with people, I find disconcerting because it feels like I'm disrupting the way things have always been. And I'm making people pissed at me. And that's definitely, I don't believe that's my intent. I don't think I'm intentionally trying to go out and do that. Is that kind of part of the...
Well, I'm not intentionally going out and trying to do that either, but there's often the same result. Apparent disruption is not automatically cause for you to stop coming from the place of excellence in you. It is one of the means the ego uses to maintain the status quo and keep change from happening, keep miracles from happening. Well, when you are confronted with that, you find yourself feeling at a loss, right?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, so there you are at the edge, right? Well, you were at the edge before you moved over enough to feel confident to do this new thing that you're doing, which seems to be meeting with resistance. So, change is occurring. Shifting is occurring. Stay at the edge that it pushes you further into, so that you can listen and be appropriate under the new elements of change that are now occurring.
When that disruption happens, I'm sometimes not sure, am I going the right direction? Have I, asking myself, oh, am I slipping off? Or did I get off into a new ego trip kind of thing? It's real tricky, slippery, very slippery. Is that?
The difference between the two will become more and more obvious as you persist in the experience of stepping up to the edge and leaning into the unknown, into the void, to listen for how to be and what to do and what to say next. You're not so totally unconscious that you don't recognize when you have really slipped into ego. It's only in the what I'm going to call the new area of trust building that you are engaging in by being in a new way. You have to persist long enough for the trust to develop so that there is not as much fear associated with being out of control, but still acting in the world. You see?
Yes. Okay. That feels better. I think I know what you mean. There's nowhere else to go because what was before is not there anymore, so there's only forward to go. A little sideways once in a while.
What we're talking about all along the way here is the building of trust around being in the world without using all of the mutually agreed upon definitions that have been put into place that seem to provide a sense of real security.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hands? Oh, right there.
Well, excuse me. You mentioned that God's will and ours are one. And based on this last 2 weeks, when a lot of really crazy things happened, I kind of was thinking about that. And in listening to your CD, I realized that it's because I really was being distracted by my own definitions of everything. So then I had this brilliant idea that maybe the smartest thing was to quit thinking about the past and quit trying to plan for the future, which left just now, and to drop all the definitions and drop all the defenses that I had. And I noticed a thought would come up, and there was all kinds of defense around it. And when I would let all the defense go, I could just feel my whole body energized somehow. And this is leading to where my question is, really. Okay. So then I'm thinking, all right, I'm not a body, I'm a mind, so what does a mind do? Well, a mind thinks. And then I think I heard you say it creates.
What a mind does is it pays attention.
Oh, thank you. I knew that there was more. There's nothing in that. I knew there was more. Thank you. And you know me, I really want definitions of everything.
Well, thinking is a distraction from paying attention.
This is so cool. Thank you.
Yes, get that down in your book of definitions.
Thank you.
It is well to have the reminder, because this is a reminder to let go of definitions.
Yeah.
Continue.
I think that really handled it. I really wanted to understand what a mind does. And, you know, if that's what I am, if I'm this mind, then I need to pay attention to, and it has to be in the now because...
Well, mind automatically does that.
Oh, I don't have to make it do that. Okay.
When you stop thinking, you'll find that what's left is you paying attention. You being conscious.
Okay.
And actually, you will find yourself paying attention in a way that constitutes being more present with everything than you have ever been before. Because always your thinking has stood as a barrier, a cushion between you and that thing. So you have not really been able to be intimately present with everything because you've got this definition of it sitting between you and it. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So as you let go of the past, as you let go of the definitions, you end up, you might say, just being pure consciousness.
That would be cool.
Now, pure consciousness is not infinite space, absolutely clear of anything in it. Consciousness is the experience of attentiveness to what there is to be attentive to, which is creation.
Okay.
God.
Okay. Okay.
So, you will find yourself being a better driver. You will find yourself being a better organizer if that's what's needed, or you will find yourself being less organized because you were too compulsively organized before. You will find yourself being so present with everything in such an appropriate manner that the only way to describe it would be that you will have the experience of being more alive and more connected with everything.
That would be good.
And everything will extend way beyond what you've in the past called everything. So you will not lose your capacity to be intelligent. You will not begin to do foolish things. You will be the presence of an orderly mind, you might say, not by virtue of your ordering it, but an orderly mind that sees order everywhere, that is by virtue of its fundamental intelligent structure, communicating intelligent structure, and expecting to see intelligent structure, not by plan, but just by function. And everything will reflect back to you the quality of truth with which you're looking at everything. Now, in practical terms, that means that everything that needs to get done will get done. All of your relationships with the people in your experience will be healing or will be harmonious. You won't be airy-fairy, strumming a harp. Your everyday life will, every element of it will fit together in such integrity that there's not a single space for confusion or chaos to enter. And every aspect of it will be in movement, the flow of creation, identifying the Father's will. And so you will feel the orderliness of it. I'm even going to say the subatomic orderliness of it. The orderliness of the movement of being. And you will feel it right in this room here. You will feel the space that seems to be empty and how it configures perfectly with every board in the ceiling and every indentation in the walls where the windows are, and how perfectly the glass interfaces with the space inside and identifies beauty and more. You will feel the perfection of all of the space and everything in it, in the space, you will experience the awesomeness of this room, the outdoors, of your home, of the space in between, of the way your car moves from here to there, and the space that the air took up before your car moved into it shifts to the space behind it, and so on. You will feel the integrity of all of it. And I tell you, it is an awesome experience. Not one that you in bliss are sitting back having about everything else, but that you, engaged in the movement yourself, experience. What I'm trying to convey here, again, is not an otherworldly experience, but a new experience of right where you have been all along. And why would you have this experience? Because in the absence of thinking, you will find that what is left is consciousness. Consciousness being attentive. And experiencing what is here without the interference of the definitions about everything that is here that you were employing before. And I will stop there with your answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Over here.
Thanks, Raj. I too have been chewing for the past couple of weeks, struggling, if you will, with on the one hand, I felt like, in a way, the way you described, you said some of us may feel like this is unfair that you're asking us to do this, and because it just seems too advanced. It's like, wait, shouldn't that come at the end of the book or something? Because, I'm having a hard enough time getting to a point where
let me say this. The end of the book is where the last step is taken. And we're talking about the second step.
Okay, well, I'm still struggling with the first step.
Indeed. And as I said, I've now said you have to take two kinds of steps together. Yes, continue.
Right. And I feel like I'm one of the...
Wait a minute. I also said you are capable of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I totally know that. I was blessed in the past by a point in time when I was at the bottom of my bucket, and I was just in a complete state of, I give up, God. Take me out of here, or whatever you're going to do with me. It's okay. I'm through with this. Whatever happens, I surrender. Kind of attitude. And out of that, when I meditated, thinking, okay, is this fine with me if this is the last time I ever meditate? I want to go to heaven, or wherever, I want to be out of here. It was my attitude. And somehow by grace, I had an awakening, or what I call nowadays is sort of like a preview of coming attractions experience, where it was very much like you described. In other words, there's a spontaneity of right action, appropriate speech, a state of living in fulfillment and knowing that my needs are met moment by moment, and there's a spontaneous expression of sharing, wanting to give from that overflowing of your heart. But okay, that sort of dwindled away, and I got back into the ego state where everything is a struggle, and I see, even though I have that memory back there of that experience, I'm still in a state of, right now, in a state of, okay, Raj is saying, grasp this, do this, and I'm trying to do that from an intellectual plane, which is what you've been talking about tonight, which I really appreciate, this sort of screen of definitions, and all the ego could do would be to try to pretend or see, okay, I'm going to try to behave like Christ today, and I'm going to be good, and I'm going to, it's an act. It's the best that could be done.
Exactly.
And it's not. It's just another costume. It's not the real thing.
It's another delay.
And so inside me, I know the difference experientially. And so I just go back and say, okay, look, there's nothing I can do other than meditate and hope that I can let go of my resentments towards family members or other people and all these bullshit stories that I have that I want justice. And so I really appreciate what you said tonight.
What can you do? What am I asking you to do?
What I was struggling with, which tonight you've brought some clarity to, is it seemed like you were asking us to not only know ourselves as Christ's, but to see that divineness in our brother and our sister and our neighbor and our boss and everybody. And I was feeling like, well, I can't even see that in myself right now, experientially. All I could do is try to imagine it or intellectually define it.
You want to know something?
What?
If you or anyone else who might ever hear these words listens, you will learn something wonderful. If you find yourself ill and in the hospital, you want to know the surest way to have healing? Find someone else, perhaps in the very same room you're in, someone else who is in the hospital, and let them be the object of your affection. If you want healing, give healing. Oh, but you ask too much. I'm in the hospital. I'm not in tip-top shape. I don't feel energetic. I don't feel like giving. Well, that's why you're in the hospital. You see, illness is an extreme form of isolation caused by self-preoccupation in one way or another. And so, here you are, I'm saying, in the hospital, and I'm saying what you're called upon for is to be willing to have someone else in need be the object of your affection and give your devotion to that one, listening to God for the truth about that one. Oh, you mean